Church services, a restful beginning to another busy week for this U.S. Mobile Construction Battalion in Rota, Spain. These church services bring a bit of home to the enlisted men living thousands of miles away. Naval Mobile Construction Battalions are typically deployed to such places as Guam and Okinawa, to Rota, Spain, and Diego Garcia. Each battalion's facilities, though devoted to support of the battalion's mission, look and operate much like a small town. The main street even includes a doctor's and dentist's office. Inside these temporary buildings, like the dental office, for example, it's easy to forget the outside appearance and think you're in your local dentist's chair. The major difference between your local dentist and this office is that this facility, like the battalion's others, can be packed up in a matter of days and transported to another location thousands of miles away to resume operations there. Also, unlike a real small town, there is no mayor here, but there is a rough equivalent in the person of the battalion commanding officer. The battalion CO has sort of a city government that provides the town with administrative and legal support, as well as management for the battalion's construction projects. Like a small town, there are industrial areas, as well as separate residential neighborhoods. During deployments, men of the battalion typically live in two-man rooms in buildings constructed by the battalion. There is a post office with a self-contained local telephone service.
Quarterdeck, may I help you, please?
And an equivalent to the general store.
14.45.
There is also a popular eating spot. But the differences between a small town in America and this deployment site are more striking than the surface similarities. Unlike the diversity of purposes that exist in a normal small town, these facilities are wholly dedicated to the functions of a naval mobile construction battalion. The first of these functions is the completion of construction projects in support of the U.S. Navy and Marine Corps. The battalion is made up of specialists who together are capable of completing a wide variety of construction projects. Equipment operators run the equipment assigned to the battalion, including earth movers, cranes, forklifts, and other heavy and light pieces of equipment. Other highly trained Seabees complete maintenance and repair of this equipment in order to maintain the unit's self-sufficiency and readiness. Other skills in the Seabee battalion include construction electricians who build and maintain power generation and electrical distribution systems. Utilities men are responsible for the installation, maintenance, and repair of non-electrical utilities such as water, heat, compressed air, as well as for fuel storage and distribution facilities. The battalion steel workers erect steel structures and fabricate steel and sheet metal sections. The battalion's builders are skilled in various trades, including carpentry, masonry, bricklaying, painting, and cabinet making. In addition to building and repairing structures, builders operate carpentry shops, and at Silver City also operate their own concrete batching plant. The battalion also has its self-contained engineering support office, which completes surveys and prepares maps, blueprints, and drawings for construction projects. In addition to these 7 construction ratings, a deployed battalion includes a support staff made up of 19 other ratings from personnel man to gunner's mate. In short, a deployed battalion has all the personnel and equipment resources within itself to function independently. Mobile construction battalions are tasked with a number of major projects during a deployment that call upon all of these resources. The projects are requested by area commanders and chosen because their completion will enhance support to the fleet and improve the Navy shore establishment. At the Rota Naval Base, these projects include the fabrication and installation of a new fender system for one of the piers. Seabees cut and weld the steel supports for the fenders and fit cross timbers to them. In the final phase of construction, the battalion installs the fenders to the side of the pier. During a deployment, the battalion is joined by 90-man contingents of Naval Reserve Seabees. These reservists serve for successive 2-week periods. They complete separate construction projects under the battalion's management. Besides completing their assigned projects, the reservists provide the battalion with exposure to the latest civilian construction techniques. In turn, reservists gain refreshers in military training to complement their construction skills. The deployed battalion is also responsible for the maintenance of its camp, including building repair and the upkeep of equipment. However, a deployed battalion is not normally responsible for maintenance of shore facilities outside the camp, which are taken care of by base public work centers. A deployed construction battalion spends most of its time on construction projects requested by area commanders. These projects may total up to 27,000 man-days of work during an 8-month deployment period. The workload may include major projects, such as the replacement of the Rota Naval Base's electrical distribution system, complete with new utility poles and primary wiring. On such major projects, one battalion may finish only one portion of the work and then turn it over to its relieving battalion for completion. Battalions deployed to Pacific bases, such as Guam, are similarly tasked with projects. But one aspect of construction work at Rota is unique. The base belongs to the Spanish Navy and is occupied by the United States as a tenant under a treaty between the two governments.
We actually have 4 groups, 2 weeks different groups. We have reserve.
As a tenant of the base, the U.S. Navy coordinates its activities at Rota closely with its Spanish hosts. Also, the Spanish base commandant must approve each construction project at Rota. Besides completing projects at Rota, a deployed mobile construction battalion sends detachments to Greece, as well as to other locations, such as Sigonella, Sicily, Holyloch and Edsel, Scotland, and Diego Garcia Island in the Indian Ocean. At Neomakri, Greece, Seabee projects include road construction and repair. The detachment at Neomakri, like those at work in other locations, is self-sufficient and possesses the personnel and material resources to carry out its mission, with the battalion providing administrative and logistic support. But whatever the location or the project, Navy Seabees must be prepared to carry out a second function of mobile construction battalions, to provide for their own defense. Designated members of each day's battalion duty section are responsible for camp defense. In response to an alarm that might signal that infiltrators are attempting to enter the base, these men form a fast reaction team to provide a first-line defense. Within minutes, members of the team can be dispatched to the trouble spot. In order to maintain a high state of defense capability, battalions frequently conduct reaction drills during their deployment. The majority of military training is done while the battalion is in its U.S. home port.
Shooters, you may commence firing when your targets appear.
But short refresher training periods take place during deployments to maintain the battalion's readiness. A U.S. Marine Corps gunnery sergeant, infantry specialist, is assigned to the battalion to act as a military advisor and supervise weapons training. Fast response, whether to a military emergency or to some other requirement, is a hallmark of a mobile construction battalion. Its prized self-sufficiency also gives the battalion a capability to shift operations on short notice to a different area. On 48 hours notice, a battalion must be prepared to transport an air detachment of 89 men and more than 30 pieces of equipment to a remote site. The detachment carries with it, on a cargo aircraft, enough food and supplies to remain self-sufficient for approximately 1 week. Cross-training within the battalion enables one man to qualify for several distinctive jobs. A Navy journalist may also be a qualified equipment operator and can assist in readying vehicles and equipment for fast deployment. To facilitate such rapid moves, supply items, such as tools, are stored in standard-sized shipping boxes. The boxes are coded as to contents and arranged according to plan so they can be located quickly.
Okay, headed up.
In the event of a rapid mass movement of men, equipment, and supplies, called a mount-out, designated supplies are pulled, the containers sealed, and placed on pallets for shipment. A control center monitors the selection of supplies for the mount-out and directs the order of supply staging to achieve a proper loading sequence. This also helps ensure that weight limits are observed and the correct supplies in the proper quantities are shipped for a particular mission. In a matter of hours, a mobile construction battalion can mount out a detachment of men and equipment for transfer by air. Or the entire battalion can mount out in less than a week by sea and be ready to begin operating in a new area for sustained periods. Seabees in the mount-out are equipped to defend themselves, as well as complete assigned construction projects, such as the repair of a damaged airfield. Personnel are pre-assigned to detachments so that all required skills are represented in the group. Support personnel, like hospital corpsmen, are included, as well as the various construction ratings. This fast deployment capability is extremely valuable in carrying out the third function of mobile construction battalions, disaster recovery. Seabees have frequently responded to non-military emergencies caused by hurricanes, earthquakes, and floods in stricken areas throughout the world. But Seabees respond to non-emergency needs as well. Working with nearby communities, they conduct a variety of civic action projects and then often play host to local citizens, especially the children. The Seabees frequently give up their off-duty hours and weekends to be part of the activities, but they obviously enjoy it as much as their guests do. By deploying overseas, Naval Mobile Construction Battalions can provide construction capability close to operating forces of the U.S. Navy and Marine Corps. Deployed battalions have the opportunity to complete a number of essential construction projects, while at the same time sharpening existing skills and acquiring new ones. The members of deployed battalions are trained to carry out their missions under a variety of conditions, including operations in hostile areas. The presence of skilled Seabees in overseas locations also helps to foster good relations for the United States through completion of civic action projects that improve local conditions. These self-sufficient, quick-reacting mobile battalions, traveling with the equipment and supplies needed to accomplish their mission, can rapidly redeploy to other areas. In times of heightened uncertainty, the Naval Mobile Construction Battalion represents an invaluable resource, providing timely and reliable support for operating forces, wherever and whenever needed.